Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be continuing our AFL 2023 round reviews, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing every game of round 10 of the 2023 AFL season. As we can see, we've got some very exciting contests here, so you do not want to go anywhere because we've got some real big games to preview and unpack in this video. But first of all, round 9 review as always. The Tigers got over the Cats by 24, Gold Coast defeated West Coast by 70, Fremantle defeated Sydney by 17, Port Adelaide defeated North by 70, Melbourne defeated Hawthorn by 54, Brisbane defeated Essendon by 42, the Dogs defeated Carlton by 20, the Crows defeated the Saints by 52, and Collingwood defeated the Giants by 65. That is how we are looking at the moment. Let's go ahead and start the round 10 preview. And also, before we do actually start, here's a little look at the ladder. Before we start, we don't need to go into too much depth though, as we'll be having a little look at that closer at the end of the video. First game, Friday night, Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide versus Melbourne, which they've both changed their names. Melbourne's name is Nam, and Port Adelaide's name is another Indigenous name, which I cannot quite remember, and probably would not to be great at pronouncing anyway. So, anyway though, fourth versus second, this is a real big blockbuster clash on the Friday night. And, yeah, this would be a very exciting contest. It's fourth versus second. Port Adelaide in fourth. Melbourne are in second. Melbourne are the favourites, and it is not surprising why. They've been in some great form, and they got over Hawthorn last week. I can't say they really absolutely put them to bed because they didn't. Hawthorn were not in the contest for the entire thing, but they just looked a little bit... the D's just looked a little bit overrun at times. Hawthorn did win that third quarter, but look, I would expect this game to be a very exciting and close game. At the Adelaide Oval, I reckon it will potentially trouble the D's, and Petrarca, I believe he should play, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I do feel like the safe tip here, I said the D's by 15, but I feel like if Port Adelaide can go about a different route in their defence line into like going inside 50, I feel like Port Adelaide could potentially win this game. But yeah, I feel like this will be a very interesting contest on the Friday night. First game, Saturday, North versus Sydney at Marvel Stadium. And a 16th versus 14th. North are in 16th, Sydney are in 14th. Sydney are heavy favourites here, and you'd definitely be expecting them to win. I feel like they should win. Surely they should win this game, the Sydney Swans, but there is no guarantee there. They've been lacking a lot of players from their main side in the past couple of weeks, resulting to some disappointing losses. And the SCG is slowly slipping away from the fortress they thought it once was. They've lost to Port Adelaide, the Giants, and the Swans, the Dockers in the last couple of weeks at their home venue. They are in trouble. They're sitting 14th, and I reckon this could potentially be a season-defining and shaping game here for the Swans. A loss, obviously, could really be season over for them. A 1-20 win is still shaky times. But yeah, bigger than about a 30-point win is definitely back on track, I reckon. They need to win this game. North, their defence has been all over the place, but the Swans forward line we can't say is the best either. However, they have kicked some high scores in the past couple of weeks. Look, it's just the right tip to go Sydney here. And I've tipped them in, I've backed them in to do it by a lot. I reckon they'll win by 49. I think they're going to send a message through the competition that they're back, they're ready. But yeah, this is another very interesting contest as to what Sydney can possibly do and what North can do as well. Dogs versus Adelaide, probably the more appealing game of the two Saturday afternooners. And this one is going to be played at Mars Stadium in Ballarat. It's 6th versus 8th at the moment. The Doggies are in 6th, Adelaide are in 8th. And this is going to be a very interesting contest. At Mars Stadium, the Crows got the Chocolates there last year by a point. But this is going to be a different story. These two sides probably of recent have to be probably somewhere inside the top 4 or 5 best teams in the competition from recent. The Crows, they've played incredibly well since round 3. Yes, they had a couple of losses to the Pies and the Cats, but they were still extremely competitive. So I feel like that still gives them a good tick. They've been great in the past, 5-7 weeks, really. And for the Dogs, they have been definitely improving since round 2. And yeah, they've been right there as well, and they've gotten plenty of wins in that time. And these two sides are probably these sides which, have been great as of the last, 6 weeks or something like that. They've been very good, very competitive, and in form as well. So this is going to be a really big game, and obviously there will be a loser. I think the Dogs at Mars Stadium, I feel like they're just a little bit better than the Crows at the moment. So again, safe tip, I think they will win, but there could very well potentially be an Adelaide upset on the cards. Fremantle versus Geelong is this Saturday. is the Saturday twilight game at Optus Stadium. Fremantle have also changed their name and logo to Walliup. I know that's wrong, but yeah, I tried. Fremantle versus Geelong, though, at Optus Stadium is 12th versus 7th. Fremantle finally bouncing back into form. Finals, potentially. I wouldn't rule them out just yet. And this is an Optus Stadium home game versus Geelong. This is the chance that they have to beat them this year. They will be playing them at Virginia Park later on in the year, but I wouldn't be expecting them to beat them then. They need to win this game. If they want to get their season right back on track and right where they would hope it to be, they need to win this game. If the Cats lose this game, they'll be showing signs of vulnerability as well. Now, there is a chance which some of their stars, which were out last week, do return. I'm not quite sure, but yes, we'll have to wait and see come team selection time. But this is going to be probably I reckon this will be one of the better games of the round. It's 12th versus 7th at Optus Stadium. I still do feel like the Cats will win. I said Cats by 21. But yeah, I think this will be quite an exciting contest. But yeah, I think the Cats will win by 21. Brisbane versus Gold Coast is this Saturday night game at the Gabba, the Q Clash. I don't really have a lot to say about this game, but Gold Coast, man, do they need to win this game. They've been impressed in the past couple of weeks. They took it up to Melbourne. They smashed West Coast in Perth in their biggest ever win away from home, and now they are being given the tough task of taking on Brisbane at the Gabba. Brisbane last week only just got over Essendon, even though they won by 42, but it wasn't convincing. However, inaccuracy does play a part, and this is 3rd versus 11th. Brisbane are heavy favourites to win this game. I think they should be able to win it. I think I said them by 22 points. I will reconfirm that at the end of the video. But yes, I'm pretty sure I said them by 22 points. I think they'll get a nice little jump skip on the Suns early. I think the Suns will find it hard to come back from there. But this is also potentially could be a good game because I do feel like Gold Coast could potentially get the upset win here. But yeah, safe tip Brisbane by 22. Dreamtime at the G is the other Saturday night game. 10th versus Essendon versus Richmond. Essendon 10th, Richmond 13th. We know how big Dreamtime at the G is, and it should be able to pull in a great crowd. Both these two sides have had very interesting years, to say the least. Essendon, being competitive in first halves, have fallen off in the past couple of weeks, even though they have played Port Adelaide and Brisbane away from home. It has been quite tough for them. On the other hand, though, Richmond, their season is coming back on track. A great win against Geelong, and then the week prior, a very nice, solid win over West Coast as well. Their season is slowly starting to get back on track, Richmond. Now, the winner here, I feel like, really does take a lot out of this game. I feel like the winner is actually really important in this game, potentially one of the most important of the rounds. The winner really does get their season back on track and right where it needs to be. Essendon, we know they've fallen off after a promising start. Richmond, they're just starting to come alive now. Richmond, I believe, are the favourites, and I think Richmond win this game by about, I think I said 16. I think they're going to get a nice win here, especially after last week. I think they played so much better. Hawthorn versus West Coast, Utah Stadium is the first game on the Sunday. This one probably a bit more unappealing, I feel, because I feel like we do have a pretty clear winner. Margin for this one could be very interesting, though. I feel like it could range anywhere from about 10 to 40, really. I feel like this side, Hawthorn at Utah, they are a different side, and they've actually looked, out of North, West Coast and Hawthorn, they've looked the better of the three sides at the moment. But yeah, I feel like if this was at Marvel, I reckon I'd give West Coast a slight better chance. I reckon West Coast have a bit more chance, a bit more people with them. But because this is at Utah and we saw how well the Crows were against Adelaide down there, and Adelaide are a good side, I think they'll be able to win pretty comfortably. Haven't said a big margin. I think I said 15 points, but I feel like it could potentially blow out to more. But I think this will be quite a low-scoring game, as both sides do have forward kicking problems. And I feel like both sides' defences as well will be okay. Now to the Sunday Channel 7 game, and oh boy, Carlton versus Collingwood, the big rivalry continues, and we've had some really close games in the past, which I think this will be another close one, but look, I wouldn't be surprised if one side was to absolutely take this and rip it away. Collingwood, we know the form they've been in the last few weeks, and I feel like they will win this game. Collingwood are the favourites, and Carlton, though, if they want to get their season back on track and pick up a really crucial win here, no better side to do it against than Collingwood. And Collingwood, they've been great in the last couple of weeks. Yes, they may have only just gotten over Adelaide a few weeks ago, and comfortably beaten the Giants, and only just got over Essendon back in the Anzac Day game. So I reckon Carlton will actually take it up to them and test them in this game, especially because there's a lot on the line. There's going to be a massive crowd, and probably, because it is a Carlton home game, more Carlton fans than Collingwood fans there at the game, but I can't make any judgment on that at all, though. But anyway, though, aside from that, I think the Pies win this one by 5. I think they'll be too strong. I think, I think they'll be able to get a nice little win here. But look, I reckon Carlton will come for them. It's a big game, and it's going to be a big time clash. Sunday, last game of the round, GWS versus St Kilda at Giants Stadium. This one still does have a lot riding on this game. St Kilda, last few weeks, North, Adelaide haven't been that great. Really haven't been that great. And then even like winding back to round 7 versus Port wasn't great. Round 8 versus North, scrappy. Round 9 versus Crows, big loss. So this week is going to be a big week for St Kilda. It's away from home. The Giants aren't too bad at Giants Stadium. This is actually a really 50-50 contest, I reckon. It's 15th versus 5th. The Saints are the favourites, although it is actually a little bit more even than you'd may think. I think the Saints will win this game by 17 points and get a nice win. But no, I reckon the Giants are going to test them. They're going to test them a lot. Alright, so my tips for this round are the Demons by 15, Sydney by 49, the Dogs by 9, the Dockers by 20, the Cats by 21, the Lions by 22, the Tigers by 16, Hawks by 15, Blues by 5, and Saints by 17. So we'll go to the ladder now and have a little look. This is what it looks like at the moment. Collingwood in first, D's, Lions, Port, Saints, Dogs, Cats, Crows, Carlton, Essendon, Gold Coast, Freo, Richmond, Sydney, Giants, North, West Coast, Hawthorn, all in ladder positional order. And make sure to go ahead and check out tipping so then you guys can see the exact scores which I've done for the game, which does affect the ladder. But this is what I think the ladder will look like after round 9, after round 10. Sorry guys, my mistake. But anyway though, that's going to wrap us up for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Oh, hang on, wait, no, we've still got one more thing to do actually. Sorry. Just remember that we always do take a little look at the stats. So for anybody that's interested, here are the stats at the moment. Main thing here is obviously Coleman medal, which Jeremy Cameron's currently winning that on 34, followed by Kerno 33, Hawkins 26. Massive round of footy coming up. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Send you guys the next video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much. Bye everyone. Flame footy.